My kids were ordered, scrub the toilets, while my sister's children tore into brand new MacBooks under the tree. Golden kids get presents, yours get tasks, my mom said. My son whispered, "Is this normal?" I told him, "Not much longer." That night, I shifted the house ownership back to my name. By morning, everyone had 30 minutes to pack. Have you ever had a moment where you realized the people who were supposed to love you most were actually tearing your family apart? For years, I let my own mother and sister get away with treating my kids like second-class citizens. But this past Christmas Eve, when my son looked at me and whispered, "Is this normal?" something inside me just broke. My name's Arnold. I'm 37, a taxi driver, husband to Mira, and dad to Max, who's 12, and Ava, 9. I work nights mostly, less traffic, better tips, and a lot of drunk confessions I can conveniently forget by sunrise. I know every shortcut, every single pothole in the city. I can tell from a passenger's, "Hey, man," if I'm getting a tip or a story I absolutely don't want. On paper, I'm the solid one in our family. I never miss a payment. I never miss a birthday. I fix what's broken, and I keep every single receipt in a shoebox, rubber-banded. Christmas Eve at my mom's house has always been loud and cramped, and honestly a little mean. This year, I parked my cab 2 blocks away, saving the good spots right in front for my sister Leia's giant SUV. Mira walked beside me, carrying a tray of her homemade cookies. Max and Ava held hands because the sidewalk was a sheet of ice. Inside, the tree was massive, practically groaning under the weight of gifts. Metallic bows, fancy tags, elegant script. My mom waved her wooden spoon like it was a scepter. "You're late," she barked, not even bothering to look at me. "Coats in the guest room. Don't slam the door. Shoes off." "Hi, Mom," I said. "Don't track slush," she added, still stirring whatever was in her pot. Leia was already settled in the recliner, like it was her personal throne. Her husband, Jason, stood by the fireplace, explaining the intricacies of equity to no one in particular. Their twins were under the tree, shaking boxes, tearing through wrapping paper. The pile of gifts on their side looked like a glossy stock photo of Christmas morning excess. On our side, it looked like a polite afterthought. "Arnold?" Leia called out, a smirk playing on her lips. "How's the taxi business driving?" Jason chuckled like he'd just delivered a comedic masterpiece. "You know, Uber's where the money is now," he chimed in. "Thanks," I said, trying to keep my voice even. "I'll write that down." Mira squeezed my hand, a silent warning. "Let it go," she whispered. I really, truly tried. Dinner was a blur of passive aggression. My mom told Max to stop wolfing his food, then promptly handed Jason a second plate. She told Ava to be helpful, and sent her to fetch napkins from the garage. She gushed about the twins' enrichment schedule to Leia, then rolled her eyes when I mentioned Max had joined chess club. Then came the gifts. The twins tore through their presents like a pair of rabid raccoons. Paper flew everywhere. They shrieked, "MacBook! Another one! And Grandma, you're the best!" They hadn't even finished unboxing before Leia pulled out her phone to start filming. "What do we say to Grandma for your education tools?" she cooed, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness. Meanwhile, my mom clapped her hands twice, sharp and loud. "Max and Ava, you can help me real quick," she announced. "Bathrooms need a touch-up before dessert. Grab the scrub brushes under the sink." Silence. My son looked at me, a question in his eyes. My daughter blinked. I thought I'd misheard. Leia, however, did not. She actually laughed. Jason grinned. My mom pointed toward the hall like a traffic cop. "Golden children get gifts. Yours get chores," she said, her voice laced with triumph. Like it was a punchline she'd been saving all year. Max whispered, "Is this normal?" And that's when it hit me. Something in my chest went cold. "Not for long," I said. My mother's eyebrow shot up. "Arnold, don't be dramatic. They're learning responsibility." I looked at the mountain of presents under the tree, at the twins ripping open another box. I looked at my son, still standing there, a scrub brush dangling from his hand like a question mark. I swallowed the first thing I wanted to say, then the second. What finally came out was quiet, almost a whisper. "Max, Ava, sit down." My mother's face hardened. "Excuse me, sit," I repeated to my kids. They sat. "Mom," I added, my voice just as calm. "Dessert can wait." That night, after the forced be gratefuls, after the "We're family" Arnold comments, after we loaded our smaller gifts and what felt like our dignity into the trunk, I lay awake, staring at the streetlight reflecting on our bedroom ceiling. At 2:13 a.m., I got up. I opened my laptop and moved a document from a folder I'd labeled "Someday" into one called "Today." I transferred the deed of the house back into my name. I didn't tell Mira yet. I just watched the progress bar crawl across the screen. It wasn't revenge, not really. It was a seatbelt finally clicking into place. At 6:30 a.m., I brewed coffee, woke the kids, told everyone to dress warm. At 7 a.m. on Christmas morning, when the family group text started dinging with, "Come over for brunch. Bring the pie," I typed, "Come to our house instead. You have 30 minutes to pack what's yours." I meant every single word. People think taxi work is chaos. It isn't. It's patterns. Wednesday nights are airport runs and nurses getting off shift. Paydays, tips are bigger. First of the month, silence. Everyone's broke. You learn to read a city's moods. I learned to read my family's moods the same way. Except there was never a meter to tell me when enough was enough. My dad left when I was 14. He needed space, he said. Found it with a woman who sold timeshares. After that, I was the car guy, the light bulb changer, the furniture mover, the man of the house before I could even drive legally. When my mom needed a ride, I came. When the roof leaked, I patched it. When Leia ran up a credit card in college buying white boots and concert tickets, I took a second shift to help her reset. She cried, called me her hero. She even posted a photo of her coffee with foam hearts, but forgot to tag me. When Mira and I got married, we did it cheap and happy. City Hall, a bakery cake, 10 friends, 2 songs played off a cracked phone. I drove that night after our wedding because rent wasn't going to pay itself. Mira just said, "We're fine," and she meant it. She's the kind of person who can make a gourmet pizza from a weird fridge and call it fancy. But no matter how careful we were, the numbers were always tight. Taxi medallion debt, don't even get me started. Insurance that crept up for no reason. Tires, brakes, new wipers because of the salt. Still, we saved a little every week. When Max was born, I put crisp $10s and $20s in an envelope labeled Future. When Ava was born, I labeled another Future too, because it made me laugh at 3 a.m. between feeds. Meanwhile, my mom discovered Facebook Marketplace and hosting. She loved presentations. Easter brunch with place cards. Thanksgiving with themes. Christmas with matching pajamas. It looked great in photos. It looked less great when she'd lean across the table and say, "Arnold, you'll bring the ham, the dessert, and the folding chairs. Leia's got enough on her plate." "Like what?" I asked once. "She's planning the twins' enrichment," Mom said, as if that explained everything. "You know how involved that is." I paid for the ham, the dessert, the gas. Leia showed up late. Jason opened wine like he'd invented it and told my son, "Money comes when you think rich." I wanted to shout, "Money comes when you work," but the words just dried on my tongue. The pattern. Keep the peace. Minimize the scene. Drive home in silence. 2 years ago, my mom asked me to temporarily put the house in my name to help her refinance. "You're the stable one," she'd said. I read every word of the paperwork. I even asked my cousin, who's a paralegal, to look it over. Clean. Fine. No secrets. The plan was to help her right-size the mortgage, get better rates. We did it. I babysat her printer, sat on hold with the bank for hours. Every hold music loop felt like mockery, but we got her payments down by $300 a month. She thanked me with a lasagna. Later, Leia started calling it our house. It just slipped out in conversation like a tell. "You know, in our house, the light in the hall flickers. We've been thinking of repainting our kitchen." When I corrected her once, "Mom's house," she squinted at me like I was speaking too loudly. There were 100 little moments before the toilet brush thing. Like the baby shower where my mom made a speech about sacrifice, and somehow all of it was Leia's because she gave up Pilates. Like the month she asked me to drive the twins to STEM lab every Saturday morning because Leia was tapped out. I did it. Ate cold bagels in the hallway because parents weren't allowed in. My son asked if he could join. My mom said, "Oh, that's for the twins. Max can help me mow." Like the group chat where Leia posted a video of the twins manifesting MacBooks by running through an Apple store, and my mom commented, "Deserved." I typed, "We're saving for a refurbished Chromebook," then deleted it, because it looked sad, even to me. The money fights with Mira were quiet. She'd show me a spreadsheet. "We can cover orthodontics if we delay summer camp," she'd say. "We'll camp in the living room," I'd say. And we did. The kids thought fairy lights were magic. I thought cheap extension cords were a fire hazard, but I left them on. Then came December. My mom messaged, "Don't bring gifts. We've got the big stuff handled." She added a winking emoji that made my jaw clench. I told Mira, "We'll bring ours anyway." She nodded. We wrapped thrift store books like treasures. Max picked out a puzzle for the twins. Ava picked glitter pens. Mira baked cookies and said, "No one's leaving empty-handed on our watch." Christmas Eve was a slow burn. One more version of the same old story. Until my mom lined my kids up with brushes while the twins peeled the plastic off expensive laptops and shouted, "We'll take these to Grandma so we don't scratch them." That line, "Golden children get gifts, yours get chores," wasn't a slip. It was policy. It was the subtext, finally printed in bold. And when Max asked, "Is this normal?" I heard every other question he'd ever swallowed. Is it normal that Grandma forgets my birthday but remembers the twins' half-birthday? Is it normal that Aunt Leia says college is a waste when I mention a science club, then brags about the twins' gifted profile? Is it normal that Dad drives Uber secretly some weekends just so we can afford soccer cleats? No, I said. Not for long. We left early. In the car, there was no music. The kids stared out at the street. Mira held my hand and didn't say, "Let it go." This time. At home, I set a timer on my phone and opened everything I'd saved. The refinance documents. The clause. Leia forgot about the text where my mom wrote, "House is in your name now. Try not to sell it out from under me. LOL. She thought the LOL made it cute. It made it binding. I didn't plan to evict anyone. That wasn't the point. But I needed leverage. I needed something heavier than a toothbrush to set a boundary. I needed the pattern to end. At 2:13 a.m., I did what good sons aren't supposed to do. I protected my family from my family. I didn't invite a fight. I didn't march in shouting. I sent one message to the family thread at 7 a.m. Brunch at our house. 30 minutes to pack what's yours. If it's not yours, don't pack it. My mom replied instantly. What are you talking about? I typed, papers are signed. House title is in my name again. We're setting new ground rules. If you want to keep using storage in our garage and bedroom closets, you'll sign a simple agreement. If not, please come collect your things. 30 minutes. I attached a PDF. 1 page. Clear terms. No more keys distributed without my consent. No more borrowing my accounts. No more Arnold will pay. If they wanted to host, they could at their own address. Seconds later, my phone buzzed. Leia. LOL. Is this a bit? Jason. You wouldn't. Mom. You are ruining Christmas. Mira looked at me. Are we doing this? We're doing this, I said. By 7:28 a.m., they were on my porch. Leia stepped in first without knocking and saw the boxes by the door with masking tape labels. Leia/Jason seasonal decor. Mom silverware set, plus Santa plates, miscellaneous craft bins. Wow, Leia said, a sneer on her face. So petty. Mom pushed past her. Arnold, she said, her voice low and tight. Undo whatever you did last night. I shook my head. No, Jason smirked. You can't just claim the house. It's in my name, I said, keeping my voice flat. You asked me to help you refinance 2 years ago. I did. Now I'm making sure my family doesn't get told to scrub toilets while your kids open laptops bought with money I don't have. Jason opened his mouth. I lifted a hand. Don't, I said. Leia's voice went high and sharp. You're punishing my kids. Your kids are fine, I said. This is about boundaries. Boundaries, Mom repeated like the word tasted sour. You're ungrateful. After everything I've done. What have you done? I asked, calm. Name it. Silence. Then she went with, I raised you. You raised me to pay, I said. Mira stepped forward. We're not doing a screaming match, she said, her voice steady. Sign the agreement. Keep your storage here and we'll schedule pickups when it's convenient. Don't sign? Take your things now. Either way, new rule. No keys are copied without our consent. And you don't tell our kids to clean your toilets. Ever. Golden children get gifts, Leia muttered. Remember, Jason laughed. Max was in the hallway listening. I caught his eye. I nodded. My mom grabbed the paper, scanned it like it was a personal insult. This is ridiculous, she said. We're family. We don't do contracts. I pointed to the tree in the corner of our living room. The one we bought for $20 off a lot 2 nights ago. Lopsided. Lights uneven. We're family, I said. And we also don't make one set of kids the help. Leia snapped. You're making a scene. I gestured toward the signed page on the table. The scene is a signature away from ending. There's a silence right before people decide who they really are. Jason whispered something to Leia about leverage. My mom looked at Max and Ava and then at me. For a second, I thought she might finally see it. How small they'd made our kids feel. Then her face shut, like a door. She pushed the paper back. No. Okay, I said. 30 minutes. Jason snorted. You can't just toss us. I'm not, I said. I'm asking you to collect what's yours. The rest stays here and I'll photograph and catalog it, and store it in the shed for 30 days. After that, it's donated. Petty, Leia said again. Policy, I said. She looked past me at the kitchen. At least you can make coffee. Sure, I said. We have mugs. You can keep the Santa plates. They are labeled Mom. Mira poured coffee. For us, not for them. Leia rolled her eyes. My mom called me selfish 3 times in a row, like it was a spell that might wake the old me. Didn't. At 8:01 a.m., Jason hauled the first box to his car, muttering about lawyers. Leia grabbed the craft bin and said to the kids, "Auntie will remember this." The twins walked through our living room like tourists, taking pictures of nothing. My mom stood in the doorway at the end, her eyes wet. "You'll regret this," she said. "I already regret not doing it sooner," I told her. There's a kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty. After they left, the house felt like that. We made cinnamon toast. Max fed the dog a corner when he thought I wasn't looking. Ava stuck bows in her hair and told me I did a decent job with boundaries, which made Mira laugh into her mug. "Are we in trouble?" Max asked. "No," I said. "We're in control." I spent the next hour with my phone and my shoebox of receipts. I took pictures of the boxes before they left, saved them to a folder labeled Inventory. I emailed the simple agreement again. I sent a separate message to the family thread. No one is barred from seeing the kids. We will not attend gatherings where our kids are treated like staff. Then I put my phone on silent and watched Home Alone, because honestly, I needed to see someone else set traps for a while. By noon, the extended family started texting. My aunt, "Your mother is devastated." My cousin, "Leia says you threatened to evict." Jason, "You'll hear from our attorney." Mom, "You ruined Christmas." Leia, "The twins are crying." Happy, I wrote. "The twins will be fine. Max and Ava will be better than fine." Then I put the phone face down again. At 2 p.m., the family group chat lit up with screenshots. Leia had posted on Facebook about toxic relatives who weaponize paperwork. My mom had commented, "Some people forget who fed them." Jason posted, "Contracts are for corporations, not kin." Mira took my phone. "No replying," she said. "Not today." We went for a walk. The air was sharp, and the sidewalks were noisy with salt. Max asked real questions. "What happens if Grandma doesn't sign?" "Then her stuff stays in the shed for a month and we donate it," I said. "Will she hate us?" Ava asked. "She'll be mad," I said. "Hate is a big word. We don't use it. We use boundaries and consequences, which are boring words, but they work." "You're not boring," Ava said, "which I will remember until I can't remember anything." That night I drove. Christmas night drunks are different. Less mean, more tender. People tip big because they feel like they should. I said, "Merry Christmas," more than I meant it, and listened to a guy cry quietly into his sleeve because his girlfriend's parents called him the wrong kind of smart. At 11:40 p.m., I picked up a woman from a hotel who'd been waiting outside because her sister made a comment that stuck. She told me, "I wish I'd said something." I told her, "There's still time." Between rides, I checked my email. Leia's attorney had sent a message, not a law firm address. A Gmail with a signature that said, "Consultant." He mentioned defamation. I replied with the PDF again, plus a note. "No public statements have been made. We are enforcing property and access rules in a respectful manner. If you have a valid legal claim, address it here." Then I blocked the number. The next morning, my mother came to the house at 8 a.m. She knocked, which felt like a small miracle. I opened the door. She stood on the porch in her robe, hair uncombed, looking smaller than I'm used to seeing her. "Arnold," she said softly, "you made your point." "This isn't a point," I said. "It's a plan." "Let me in," she said. "I can make you coffee," I offered. "And we can sit. But it's only talking. No yelling." She looked past me like I was blocking her from a sale. "Fine," she said. She sat at the table. Mira poured coffee into a regular mug, not the world's best mom one. My mother looked at the mug like it was an insult. "I did what I did for the twins," she said after a minute. "They need a head start." "So do Max and Ava," I replied. "You have your pride," she said. "They don't need MacBooks." "They needed not to be handed toilet brushes while the twins opened them," I said. She winced. "That was a joke." "It wasn't funny," Mira said, her voice gentle but steady. "The kids heard it. So did we." My mother took a breath, like she was going underwater. "Fine," she said. "What do you want?" "Respect," I said. "In practice, not in speeches. That means no chore assignments for our kids in your house. No comments that make them feel small. Fairness with gifts, or skip the gifting entirely and let them all play a board game. And stop using me as an ATM." "Don't be crude," she said. "It's accurate," I countered. "Last year, I paid for your new water heater because you said you were tapped out. 2 weeks later, you helped Leia with a down payment on a car after she totaled hers texting. You told me to be happy for family when I asked about the heater. That's not helping. That's me subsidizing you so you can subsidize Leia." Her jaw worked. She didn't deny it. She stared at the coffee, then at her hands. "I will sign your paper," she said finally, like the word had splinters. "But I'm not." She paused, swallowed. I'm not apologizing for wanting the best for the twins. You don't have to apologize to me for loving them, I said. Just don't do it by stepping on mine. She looked at me for a long time. You've changed. I got tired, I said. Tired of explaining my dignity. At the door she stopped. Your father never. Dad left? I said, not mean, not loud. He doesn't get to be part of the example. She nodded. For once, she didn't try to get the last word. She went home, and I sent her the DocuSign link again. 90 minutes later, I had her signature. Leia didn't sign. Jason sent 3 more emails about principles and family law. I filed them in a folder labeled noise and put their stuff in the shed. After 30 days, I donated the craft bins to a community center and the Santa plates to a thrift store. Might be petty, might be policy. Felt like both. Word got around. An uncle called to say, I heard you threw your mother out of her own house. I made a rule, I said. We can eat dinner anytime. At school pickup, a mom I barely knew said, I saw a post. Are you okay? We're good, I said. And it was true. The house felt lighter. Mira slept like she hadn't in months. Max asked if he could try coding on the library's old desktops. And I said, yeah, and we'll save for a good used laptop. Ava wrote a list called Family Rules and taped it to the fridge. Rule number 1 was no toilet talk. I took more night shifts not because I had to, but because I wanted to. The meter ticked, the city hummed, and I thought about boundaries like curbs. They keep tires from shredding. They don't make the car prettier. They make it possible to get home. 2 weeks later, my mom texted a photo of the twins doing homework at their kitchen table with a caption. No more screens. I don't know if that was for me or for the internet. I hearted it anyway. We went to Sunday dinner at her place the week after. Mira brought salad. The table had 4 plates and a 5th for me. None for the twins yet. My mom stopped them at the kitchen threshold and said, Hands Washington, then, set your own places. She looked at me quickly, like she was checking a mirror. The twins washed their hands. Max and Ava took out Jenga. I breathed. After dessert, my mom pulled me aside. You know, you didn't have to get legal, she said. I did, I said, because words weren't working. She nodded, small. I'll try to be fair, Arnold. Try hard, I said, and for the first time in a long time it didn't feel like a threat or a plea. Felt like a guideline. A week ago, I dropped an airport fare at 5 a.m. and watched planes lift off like disciplined birds. On the drive back, I took the long route by the river. The sky was just turning that bruised color before day. I parked for a minute, heater on, hands loose on the wheel. I thought about the line Max asked me, is this normal? And the line I gave back, not for long. I didn't mean, one day we'll be rich. I meant, one day we'll decide what normal is. We did. Normal now is boring. It's great. It's Mira and me at the kitchen table with coffee that isn't stretched. Bills paid on time without a hint of resentment. A calendar that says Max chess, and Ava art, and Mira's night off. It's Sunday dinner at my mother's where the twins bring a board game and my kids don't bring scrub brushes. It's me driving nights because I like the quiet, not because I'm chasing a hole I can't fill. I didn't burn the bridge. I put guardrails on it. People drive differently when there's a drop-off and no railing. The railing says, I care enough to make this safe. My mom still has moments. She sent a link last night to a gifted camp and asked if Max even likes computers. I typed, he likes fairness. Then I deleted it and wrote, he likes puzzles. Thanks. Small victories count. Leia hasn't forgiven me. That's okay. I didn't do it for forgiveness. I did it because my kids needed to see me put my body between them and a bad pattern. They needed to watch me choose us. This morning, as I was tying my shoes, Max asked, Dad, do you think we'll get MacBooks one day? Maybe, I said. But first we'll get a good used one that does the job and we'll take care of it. And no one will make you scrub a toilet to earn it. He grinned. Deal. Ava stuck a sticker on my sleeve. For luck, she said. It was a little taxi. I drove my first fare to a hospital. She was quiet, eyes puffy like she hadn't slept. Halfway there, she said, family? Like a question that didn't need detail. I said, yeah. She nodded like that was the whole language. At a red light, I thought, if my mother tells someone I'm ungrateful, maybe I am. I'm ungrateful for the lesson that love comes with humiliation. I'm ungrateful for the kind of loyalty that makes kids small. I'm grateful for the chance to unlearn it. The house title sits in a folder now, not as a weapon, but as a reminder. I did what I had to do. I didn't do it perfectly. I did it clean. If you need a moral, it's not clever. It's simple. I don't let anyone use my kids to prop up someone else's story. Not strangers, not family, not even my mother. And when someone says, golden children get gifts, yours get chores, I say, not anymore. Then I put the car in drive, check my mirrors, and keep going. What about you? Have you ever had to draw a hard line with family, even when it felt impossible? How did it turn out? Tell me what you think. I really want to know.